Welcome, everybody. I was running a little behind today, so I just basically made it in order to do the show, because the show must go on. So today we are interviewing the one, the only, the mysterious Dale Bruce. He's been in your channel. He's been in a lot of communities. He's been everywhere. But who is he? So we're going to dig deep. We're going to find out who Dale Bruce is. So let's bring him up and chat with him. Welcome.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good.
Good.
I don't know why anyone would think I'm mysterious, though.
Well, you're not a you're a supporter. You're not a content creator. And
right.
You're so supportive of the community, but nobody really knows who you are. So I thought it was important to, find out who you are. So that's what we're doing.
I mean, really and truly, it's this whole screwed up mess we're in. I have worked with technology my entire life. I have never been social with technology. So this is a whole new experience for me, meeting people and chat and stuff like that. I mean, 3 years ago, no way, would have never happened. But being stuck in here locked down, eventually to try to maintain your sanity, you start talking to people.
Well, I think with the whole COVID thing, it actually brought a lot of people to YouTube. I mean, and YouTube's just probably going, yeah, baby, we're just rolling in it.
Oh, yeah, big time.
And they've made so many changes and they keep messing things up. It becomes a hassle, too.
Well, it does ultimately, but I mean, you got to look at it from their standpoint. They're trying to protect their nest egg. Google is, let's face it, they're worth a lot of money. So they got a lot to lose, if they start being held accountable for stuff that's on their platform. I mean, I realize it's definitely censorship, but it is their platform. Ultimately, they can do what they want.
Well, that's the thing, right? I mean, it gets to the point that it's, you're right. It's their baby. We're on it. They've got the control.
Correct.
But I mean, I guess it's kind of like government in some ways.
Well, I mean, a large corporation is ran very much like the government. I mean, they really are.
Yeah.
There's a little bit more accountability in, corporate America than there is in the government. But, it's largely, they run real similar operations.
No, I agree. So let's get into this.
Okay.
Let's start with where'd you grow up?
Well, I was born in Louisiana, but when I was 2 years old, we moved to the middle of nowhere in Oklahoma, in McCurtain County in the southeast corner, and lived there until 1982 when my parents divorced. And then we moved back with my mother back to Louisiana.
Okay. Interesting. Do you remember much of it?
In Oklahoma?
Yeah.
Oh, God, yeah. Yeah, that's some of my fondest memories come from there. We were out in the middle of the boonies. I was about 150 yards from a river, and I was a boy. I was in paradise for a boy at that age. I was running around out in the woods, hunting and running up and down the river, fishing. It was awesome in Oklahoma.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So,
to be honest, I'm not sure how we survived it, because we definitely were like feral kids out there. I mean, we didn't have a lot of supervision. We used to surf the wave that came down from the hydroelectric dam that was about 3 miles upriver. When they would sound them horns off and they would open the gates up to generate power, to be like a 4-foot wall of water coming down the river. and we would surf it in our John boat. Never had
That'd be
life
fun.
jackets either.
I don't think we did a lot of things when we were young, not like what it is nowadays. Everything's like you got to put a bubble around your kid.
Oh, I know. You know, and I hate to think what I would have came up with if we would have had the internet.
Oh,
You know, I mean, we were inventive enough without the internet. We didn't need that kind of help.
So growing up, what was your first job?
I didn't have my first job as far as like receiving a paycheck until I was in high school. And then I was working at a pizza place. I worked there the whole time I was in high school. And then right out of high school, I went to work for B.E.K. Construction Company, and they were rebuilding a paper mill in West Monroe, Louisiana. And I did that for a little while and said, you know what? I'm going to break the rules here. I'm not going into the forest products industry because everybody else in my family was. I threw the jackhammer down and went to the Coast Guard.
Cool. So where did the Coast Guard take you?
Oh man, they took me all over the world. I traveled every opportunity I got. I did boot camp in Cape May, New Jersey, right down from Sonia. And then I did, my first unit was right across the Delaware Bay in Rehoboth Beach, Delaware. That was the address. It was Indian River Inlet was the station. And then I'm trying to think, how long was I there? It wasn't that long. As soon as I made E3, I pretty much left and went to electronics school over in California. And that was like 4 or 5 months long, something like that. And then from there, got stationed on a ship out of Honolulu. And then from Honolulu, wound up in Seattle quite a bit because that's where we picked the ship up at Todd Shipyard in Seattle, Washington. It just went through a major overhaul. And then we had to go back up there because they had warranty work to do on it or something to do with the bow thruster. So I was there, we'll say it was like 4 or 5 months. It was like late fall through spring of 1991 and 1990 and 91.
Okay.
And of course, bounced everywhere I went to, though. I always took little side trips and stuff. Like when we were in Seattle, there was 3 or 4 of us went together and rented a car and took off and went over to Mount Rushmore,
Oh, cool.
So
let's go back a little bit. Being in the Coast Guard, where did that take you?
It essentially gave me a career. I mean, I did electronics when I was in the Coast Guard. At my last unit, which was actually New Orleans, Louisiana, or Belle Chase, just south of there, I actually maintained 10,000 watt HF transmitters and have been dealing with RF communications in one way or another ever since.
Cool.
And it's provided a good life for me.
So you got to travel a lot.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Like right now, even, not in the last year, but typically up until this all happened, I travel around 14 states here in the Midwest.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
With the Coast Guard?
Oh, no. I got out of the Coast Guard in 1996 after 8 years.
Okay.
I wound up with my kids. Got a divorce that year, and the kids lived with me. So the judge wouldn't agree to it until I got out of the Coast Guard. So I got out, and of course, the first thing I did was get a job with Western Geophysical, working overseas in Venezuela for 28 days at a time. So I still had to have help with the kids until I got on with the cellular companies.
Okay.
Yeah.
So having the electrical job and stuff like that, is that something you're still doing now?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I do more project management today. I'm just not healthy enough to do all of the stuff that I used to do.
So let's, if you're okay with it, let's get into that part of it. What do you mean by not being healthy?
Well, in 2017, I was getting ready to go to, I want to say it was Kirksville, Missouri. And I started coughing up blood while I was in the shower and wound up going to the ER, and they found a tumor in my lower right lobe of my lung. And it came back. It was, at first we were worried that it was adenocarcinoma, which is, because I was a smoker up until 2013. So, we just feared the worst. And then whenever they got the biopsy results back, it wasn't an aggressive cancer, and they thought they had caught it before it spread. So they took out my lower right lobe in 2017, and then in 2018 they found where it did in fact spread. So I started going for treatments down in New Orleans in 2019.
Wow.
And then, but it's the cancer that I have, it by itself doesn't typically kill you for a long time. It's a very slow growing cancer. It's usually ancillary health problems that because of the weakened immune system and the weakened state of your health that actually gets you. The cancer just like sets it up, So like this pandemic thing, it was a big. They were seriously concerned for this.
Oh yeah,
with me, because they was worried that that could be the secondary infection. It's Steve Jobs had this cancer, and he lived for like 20 something years, and he died of I think he had some other heart issue that actually ended up killing him, but it was because of the cancer that he was weakened enough that it killed him.
So what stage are you at? Oh, did they say?
It's stage 4. Yeah, I've got it in my liver, my lymph nodes, my bones. The lungs are, well, the parts that are left are clear still. But, I've got one right here that's a lymph node that we can watch real easy, but they still do the scans on me every 6 months to see if anything's growing.
Wow. V said, and V's gone through cancer and her treatment. She's like, "Wow, Dale, you are a warrior."
Yeah. I've revealed it to a few people on here, and that's one of the reasons. Like, I know people have seen enough in the chat to where they might have questions. So that's one of the reasons why I kind of agreed. Like, yeah, I'll do an interview. That's not a big deal.
No, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, but I mean, so I'm not like ready to expire tomorrow. We don't know when it'll be, but I've got years left probably.
Well, I hope so. Because I mean,
yeah, I do too. Because I ain't made it to retirement yet.
So you said you traveled.
Yep.
Have you been to, like, how many states and provinces have you been to?
I've been to 49 states. West Virginia is the only one I have not been to. As far as in Canada, I don't know the provinces that well, but I did a little bit of time up off the coast of Nova Scotia whenever I actually I was still technically in the Coast Guard, which is why I could not go to Venezuela first. And they sent me, and I did a hitch up off the coast of Newfoundland. Okay. And that was with Western Geophysical, and that would have been in 96, like May of 96. And then
did you understand anything there?
In Newfoundland? I was in a boat, man. Hey, they drink beer. I can work with that.
Too funny. So you've traveled through all the states except for one. Yeah. You've traveled into Canada somewhat.
And I've been to Vancouver a few times whenever I was up that way. And then I went hunting up in Manitoba, maybe. But, that was years ago.
Okay.
I would imagine quite a bit has changed. I haven't. The last time I went to Canada would have been in '96. Yeah, would have been in '96.
Wow. Okay. That was a while ago.
Oh yeah.
So, do you have any siblings?
I have an older brother that lives in Mississippi and a younger brother that currently resides in Colorado. He's getting ready to move to Wyoming, I think.
Oh, I think Colorado's beautiful.
I do too, but he has differences of opinions with people.
So, throughout your journeys in your life, have you ever encountered something crazy that just, I don't know, it sticks with you?
I mean, there's quite a few things that stick with you, but I mean, I can't imagine that it was anything different than anyone else has experienced in their life. I mean, maybe if someone hasn't traveled that much, they might not understand it, but anyone that's traveled much in their life, they would, I work with people every day that totally understand and have been all over the world too. So,
have you had any encounters with wildlife?
Oh, okay. I know where you're going now. Yeah. I did grow up in the sticks in Oklahoma. And we used to trap. So yeah, I've caught a few skunks in my day and had to get sprayed by them. And I've got a little bit too close to a couple of snakes and paid the price for it. But
oh wow,
it's actually not that uncommon to someone that grew up in the 70s and 80s in Oklahoma, believe it or not.
That's just, yeah, yeah. Snakes, no thank you. Kathleen just asked a question here. Do you miss, how did you miss West Virginia? A lot of major roads go through there.
I can't describe it, Kathleen. I didn't go all these places all at once. This has been over my life. I've been to all of them. And it's possible that I may have went through West Virginia, but if I don't stay the night there, I don't count it. That's, so it's possible that I skipped through West Virginia and didn't stop, but, I don't count it unless I actually stay there overnight and visit the place. But yeah, I was missing large chunks of the Midwest until I moved up here in 2010.
So you got a lot in the last, couple of years.
Well, I got Michigan and Illinois. Well, no, I'd been to Illinois because I've been to Chicago. Indiana. North Dakota, Minnesota, Michigan, Wisconsin. Yeah, all those states I hadn't been to before, in Nebraska.
Wow. The only two I haven't been to is Hawaii and Alaska.
Yeah, my daughter was born in Hawaii.
Okay, that makes it nice and easy.
Yeah.
You said we're gonna go backtrack there. I got sidetracked by Kathleen's question. And now Bree's got one. I'm gonna get through this. You said you had trapped some skunks. Did you have any mishaps with that?
Well, what do you mean by a mishap? I mean, generally you get sprayed if you capture a skunk.
Okay. So bathing all that off and you get used to kind of.
Oh yeah,
that smell stays a while too.
It does, but they sell stuff at the feed store that knocks it down. I mean, it's not like it's a new thing. People been getting sprayed by them things forever. Especially dogs.
Yeah, my dog got sprayed and it took a while. You could still smell it. It was usually when she was out in the rain. Whenever she got wet, you get that smell coming back. So you sit there and scrub her down again. And it's just like, oh.
Yeah. It takes a little while to get it off, but luckily it's, you know, out in the sticks in Oklahoma, and not many people around to smell you.
Just a new cologne.
Yeah.
This is from Bree. Does Dale have a favorite place he has visited?
The most epic place I have ever visited in my life was Machu Picchu in Peru. That was absolutely epic. I don't know how to describe it. You can't take a picture of it. You can't do anything, but you just go and experience it, and you will know exactly what I mean. It's one of those places that just there's no way to explain it without witnessing it. It's just absolutely, it's lush, it's beautiful. You know, and of course you're way up high, but yeah, I loved it there. I would go back tomorrow if I had a way to do it.
Wow. That would be, yeah, that would be definitely something to see.
Yeah, I mean, here in the United States, probably the two most spectacular things I've seen would be Yosemite and Bryce Canyon. I love those two places. And Bryce Canyon blew me away so much that I was just like, when I went and seen the Grand Canyon, I was like, yeah, you know, like Bryce just blows it away.
So in your spare time and so on, have you built anything that's, been really unique and cool?
Well, I had a rock crawler for about 3 or 4 years. So I bought a 94 Jeep Wrangler, and I paid $6,000 for the Jeep, and then spent $20,000 building the darn thing. So yeah, I mean, it's completely impractical of a vehicle, but it'll take you places you can't walk.
That'd be a lot of fun. Do you still have it?
Oh no, I got rid of that when Sprint laid me off in 2009. When you ain't got without an income, you got to get rid of toys.
Did you get your money back at least?
Oh hell no! you never get your money back on that stuff. I had a good time though. I did have a good time.
That's too funny. Yeah, to the chat, if you guys want to post your questions, just bring it to my attention by putting at Vancity Adventure, or just highlight it and it'll come up as Vancity, and then I'll grab my attention for questions. So here's one. Do you have any tattoos?
Yeah, I have a medic alert tattoo on my wrist to warn people, or warn paramedics that I'm diabetic.
That's different.
And then, well, I work with high voltage. I don't wear jewelry. I mean, even if it's plastic or something, it snags on something. When you're dealing with high power RF, man, people lose limbs over that stuff.
So what do you do, like with buttons or glasses and stuff like that?
I don't stick my head in the equipment. I stick my hands in there.
Fair enough. Touche. So what are some? Oh, yeah, there's one tattoo.
Oh, the other one. I don't know if you can see it. I'm not good at this camera angle stuff. It's the same as my avatar that y'all are used to seeing. It's the Bruce clan family crest from Scotland.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So what are some of your favorite YouTube channels? Okay, here, we'll put it a different way. What was the first YouTube channel that actually caught your attention and that kind of got you into this whole thing?
Oh, geez. I'm trying to think. It probably the first YouTube channel I ever watched. Well, I'm sure it was someone sending me something on the phone and I looked at it, or, 9 times out of 10, what I used to do on YouTube was I would go on there and search how to do something. And, I'd find different ways of doing it. But I guess technically the first one was probably MIT, now that I think about it, because I discovered it while I was trying to go back to college at 40 years old after Sprint laid me off. And I found out that MIT had all of their engineering lectures online. So I would go and search the lectures because I couldn't understand the instructors at the college I was at because they were Indian from India. And their accent was too thick for me, so I couldn't hardly understand them. So I would go on YouTube and search the textbook that we were on and search for the lecture on that section, and almost always found it.
Cool. So kind of more as a tutorial thing to get started. Interesting.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I've been around technology my entire career, since I was 19 years old or 18 years old. But I have never been social with technology. That started within the last 6 months. It just, I was like, nothing else to do. What am I going to, I got to talk to somebody. The squirrels ain't answering me.
So would you consider yourself an introvert or extrovert?
Oh no, I'm a stereotypical extrovert. I'm the person. I'm not the one that's the center of attention in the room, but I'm the one that's laughing with them and laughing at their antics and stuff. But I'm not the wallflower over there. No, I'm out there mingling and mixing it up. I used to get off, because I'm single. I used to get off work every day and go down to the hotel and watch the Royals play and drink beer every day with friends and sit there and bullshit for hours. And, it was essentially like Norm and Cliff and Cheers.
Actually, I can see you in there.
Oh, yeah.
Too funny. So out of the YouTube and so on that, you've kind of grown through it, you've grown in this community. What friendships, like I found that with YouTube, you end up creating these friendships. And I'm just curious, has that happened with you as well?
It has. Other than you, the only person I've actually had a conversation with is Bree. And she noticed me in a lot of the chats, and I noticed that we was in a lot of the same chats. And I said something in Sue's chat one day, and I could tell she was concerned about my health. And I reached out to Sonia, who had my email address, and said, "Hey, give Bree my email address because she's worried about something that there's no reason for her to be worried about." I don't want to see people worry because, Yeah,
I mean, it can kind of stress you out at the same time. So because of the pandemic, it's made a lot of people, I think, fall towards YouTube. How has COVID affected you?
They sent me home from work March 11th of 2020, and I just recently started going back 2 days a week. So yeah, it essentially threw me into house arrest. I mean, essentially, it's like, don't go anywhere. They were terrified, that if I caught this mess, that, that would be it. I mean, because it attacks your lungs, and I don't have all of mine.
Yeah, so you got to be really careful.
Yeah, but I'm fully vaccinated now, so and I realize that can be a little controversial, but I firmly believe that if anyone was in a similar situation, they probably would take their chances with it as well. So I mean, we're all in a different situation. We all are making our decision based upon our own personal circumstances, and I'm okay with that. I mean, I got the vaccination. I'm good. I feel good about it. I mean, I still wish I'd have grew that tail that they told me I was going to grow, but I think that would be fun. I mean, do you know how much fun I could have with a tail if I was like a monkey? Oh,
Not going there. I just skipped. I had a question there. No, I know that with, like, I was very cautious with COVID and stuff like that too. But landing up in the hospital with COVID, that really made me see things a little bit different. To the point that, yeah, I want to be careful out there.
Oh yeah. I mean, you know, I lost people to COVID, you know, so I'm, you know, very conscious of it. My mom's little sister died, and she was buried the day before Thanksgiving.
That's tough.
Yeah. So, and we couldn't even go to the funeral.
Nope. I mean, to me, just hearing a nurse say in the next room that they just lost one in the COVID ward, that got to me. It's like, oh crap, what's going to happen with me? So you sit there and go, you start worrying about yourself.
Oh yeah.
But yeah. I got two questions here. One from Ray. Just trying to figure out which one I should go first here. We'll go with Breeze first because they kind of tie together. So are you ever considering van life and pooping in a bucket?
Yeah, well, no. The pooping in the bucket is not going to happen.
See that, Ray?
I am very much in favor of creature comforts. So I am considering building out a cargo trailer, but no, it's going to be about 16 foot long, and it will have air conditioning, and it will have plumbing, and it will have a regular toilet, and it will have a black tank.
Fair enough. So no poop in a bucket.
No, I'm too old for that mess.
Speaking of pooping in a bucket, we're going to go to Ray's question. That worked out well. Dale, when you go camping, what type of vehicle do you travel in or want to travel in? Which you kind of covered the last part.
Yeah, I mean, I've considered all of them. I mean, I started off in life planning to retire to a sailboat, you know, and then the diabetes kind of nixed that in the bud. So then I moved on to full-time RVing when I retired. And so that was kind of what led me to YouTube and looking around on YouTube at the full-timers is that, you know, and I watch some of the bigger channels, like Keep Your Daydream, and I'm trying to think of the other one, You, Me, and the RV, and Changing Lanes. So I mean, there's some RV channels I watched out there that, you know, I realize, you know, their experience is a little bit different than most people's experience. So then I started noticing the smaller channels and everything, and you know, and then one time, you know, it was, I'm still wavering. I still think it was Blind View's channel that got me over to these channels. And maybe I found the RV DJ a different way, but somehow the same way. But it was his interview with Paula that got me into the immediate community here. You know, whenever I seen that, and of course I'd started watching Blind Views because back then Unstoppable Morgan was actually entertaining. And instead of what she's doing today, I can't watch her anymore. It's rather obscene.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's like, we all know that side of life exists, but yeah, I'm not here to promote it, you know?
No, or support it.
Yeah, exactly.
Kathleen's got a really nice or a quote here, a question, or not even a question, just a comment. I'm enjoying putting a face to the guy that I've been chatting with this past year. And that's why we're doing this. Putting a face to somebody that we all see in our chat, but don't know and can't put that face to.
Yeah, and Kathleen is one that I have chatted with quite a bit. In fact, there was one day I seen her in probably like the 4th or 5th live stream we had been in. And I said, Kathleen, I promise I am not stalking you.
I know sometimes that happens. You're in one, there they are again. So it's like, wow. Lee Nee says, sir, I have the most utmost respect for you. Good on you.
Thank you.
V says, Dale Bruce, be careful what you wish for, you might get a tail from a salamander or kangaroo.
I don't know if we have any kangaroos around here, but salamanders ain't never done nothing to me.
She's from Toronto. She doesn't know. Sorry, V.
Yeah, V's one of the ones I do recognize being in here. I chat with her quite a bit.
V's a sweetheart. Kathleen.
Yeah, I always do the green heart thing for her. Now that I figured out where the green heart is.
Kathleen keeps you on your toes, and she's so quick with things. She's so witty. And
she is sharp as a tack, man. I mean, just boom, on the money every time.
Like V says, she's like, Dale, I look forward to our morning chats on Mike's channel.
Oh, yeah. I love going in there and seeing all the different people in there in the morning times.
Any interesting foods by Bree?
Foods. Well, a lot of people find my food interesting, but it's just food to me. But, I mean, I grew up with a huge mix of Cajun, infused with Oklahoma stuff too. And then, because we always went back to Louisiana to visit because my grandparents lived down there. And so, we would go back every Christmas, Thanksgiving, sometimes in the summers and different things like that. So I was always around Cajun cuisine, even though I'm not Cajun myself, but I was always around it. So I was, I don't know if you've ever been to Louisiana, but we're known for eating everything, and there's not, there's things that if it was put in front of me, I'd be like, yeah, no, that ain't happening. But I usually will try most things,
I'm just scrolling up here through, we've got a lot of people in here. We got Van Life Rocks, Brandon, V, Bree.
I can't hardly.
Ron.
The chat is real small in here. I can't even focus on it.
Well, I've got it up on both sides. And Kathleen said, "Stalk me all you like, Dale." Wow. One day we'll meet over a brew or six. Mike Coxmole's in here. And actually, I said the last name for you, Mike. Red, hello. Well, she's talking to Dana. She's like, "How are you, girl?" I thought she was talking to you for a minute.
No.
Karen is in here. Welcome, Prairie Life.
Oh, hey.
Marshall's in the house. Dana's in the house.
Oh, cool.
Oh,
there's Sue too. I can see her.
Kathleen. Yeah, there's Sue. Sue's everywhere. I don't know if Sue's got.
Yeah, Sue was one of the first ones that I actually chatted with on a regular basis. I've seen her everywhere.
I know.
She was in the RV DJs, and I used to see her in Weekend RVing, James and Millie. I seen her everywhere, and it's and Vermont Paint, Bruce, up in his channel. She's in there usually.
So Weekend RVing. What brought you to that channel?
I really can't remember how I wound up there. I think it was, from another chat somewhere. They said something and I went and followed them and kind of, got to know them. And then, I think whenever Sue found out was, Millie had said something about going through the cancer, and I kind of let her know that I was dealing with it too. And then Sue asked for an update. So whenever I gave her an update on one of her and Bob's lives, Bree saw that, and I don't know how much else Bree had saw. And that's when we started chatting, is whenever she was like, "Do I need to be worried about something?" It's like, no, she doesn't need to be worried.
So Bree's always got she's full of questions.
No.
But Mike's got one. And leave it to Mike. Dale, have you ever gone gator hunting?
I don't know that I would call it gator hunting, but I have caught alligator before. I don't know. I mean, I was a bit younger and, I mean, it was, it's not as hard as you think, because in all of the swamps and everything there, the ones that come around people, they come around people because people feed them.
Yeah.
And for some reason they like to feed them bread. So, gators will eat anything that looks like bread. So I just cut up a piece of styrofoam, put treble hooks all over it, casted it out into the water, and they chomped on it. And then I would reel them up to the bank and shoot them.
Wow. It's here we go. Dale, do you plan to post videos on your YouTube of your travels?
No, I never had any plan of ever doing that. My dream was to write about them and just write about the different travels and stuff, because for one, pictures never, ever do justice to the places that you go. It's so hard to describe it, but in your mind, if you can describe it well enough in word, you can visualize it.
Mm-hmm.
But capturing it on film, maybe somebody can do it, but I can't do it. I never could. So no, I never ever wanted to film or take videos or pictures or anything like that. I mean, I take a lot of pictures, but I don't know what I'll do with them. You
could be a mini film producer and do TikTok videos like Bree.
Yeah, she got me on there too. But I normally don't do much social media because I had an incident several years ago where people used the information off of Facebook to basically drain my bank account one day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't have much. The only social platform I'm on basically is YouTube. And then Bree finally convinced me to get on TikTok. And so what I did was I was at Costco and I seen they had a Samsung tablet for $99 there. And I said, okay, I'll just put all fictitious information in here and I'll get on TikTok. And that's the only thing I'll put it on, because it ain't going on my phone. No.
Yeah. Wonder what Dale's favorite season is. Prefer cold or hot?
Well, 75 degrees is perfect, but very few places have that without costing an absolute arm and a leg, like Hawaii. But I prefer the fall, then the spring, then the summer. Winter is absolute dead last for me. I am not a cold weather guy, and it gets freaking cold in Kansas City.
And no to Alaska then?
No, I love Alaska. I don't think Alaska. Well, the parts of Alaska I have been to don't get as cold as Kansas City because it's got the ocean around it. Because you remember I was in the Coast Guard, so I spent 99% of the time out on the Aleutian Islands.
Okay.
Or tootling around them, boarding fishing boats out there. And of course, Dana might know a little bit about this, but the little bar that in the little town that they talk about on, was it Deadliest Catch at Dutch Harbor, Alaska? Yeah, the only two people that go to Dutch Harbor, Alaska is Coast Guard and fishermen. Neither one of them like one another. There's one bar in town. It was always a fiasco when we pulled into Dutch Harbor. It's like The fishermen hated us because we messed up their livelihood because we was regulating them and making sure they was following all the rules.
Sue says she's been everywhere. Have you done catfish hunting?
You don't hunt them, you catch them. At least I do. I've never used a gun for it.
You blow them out of the water?
Huh?
Blow them out. Well, there would be no fish left.
No. Well, I don't know. I mean, I've done noodling, which is, grabbing them by hand. I mean, that's common in Louisiana.
Yeah, you see a lot of that on some of these shows, right?
Well, the shows on TV, they leave a lot out on TV. People don't go blindly shoving their hand into a log or something where a snapping turtle or a snake could be.
Exactly.
You shove a stick in there and make sure it's a fish before you go to shove your hand in there.
I know some of these shows just make me laugh. Yeah. So Sue's got a good question for you. So you caught an alligator. It's impressive. Oh, did you get any alligator boots or a belt?
No, we just ate him.
Yay. Who's this? Sue. Dale, if you aren't interested in doing videos, how about doing a podcast? You have a great voice and talk easily. Sounds right up your alley.
I have considered a podcast. It's just I don't understand how it gains traction. I can't wrap my mind around how a podcast does anything. I hear people talking about listening to them all the time. I've tried listening to them. It's not interesting to me,
Mm-hmm. Kathleen, I'm with you, Dale. I would rather write about experiences than live through them through a camera lens.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the truth. It's like, I'll take a few pictures here and there, but I mostly want the experience. I want to see it, and I don't want it to ever become a job.
No, exactly. And sometimes it gets to that point.
Oh, YouTube would totally be a job. And no, I would not enjoy it.
Well, I look at these guys that are doing it every day and I'm going, there's no way. I mean, for one, I couldn't. I would have to leave my job in order to make that my job.
Yeah. I do watch some channels that is their job. I mean, that's all they do. And some of them's got millions of subscribers and they're making a pretty good living doing it.
Yeah.
But no, I don't ever want to do that. I mean, do you know what kind of weirdos they deal with on a regular basis?
Yep. A friend of mine, he's sitting at 150, and some of the stories he tells me, it's just like there's so many. Like he's like, I can't reply to everybody. He's like, and you get so many strange and weird people.
Yeah.
It's just like,
that was the thing that amazed me about Unstoppable Morgan is, she was off gallivanting up around the country in that piece of crap Bronco that she drives, and it's constantly breaking down, and she's getting on a live stream with like 1,000 people, and somehow she knows which one of these freaking idiots to listen to.
Mm-hmm.
And she gets this darn thing fixed. And I was just like, this is hilarious. This is an absolute train wreck.
Or people show up with parts and stuff like that.
Well, now that kind of started here in the last year, but previous to that, she was actually fun to watch. And she wore somewhat revealing clothes and stuff, but she wasn't so over the top with it.
Oh, she's wearing clothes?
Well, yeah. I mean, you have to be. Well, on one of them, she wasn't, but she got away with that one because of a loophole, I guess. But I fully expect her channel to be one that grows and grows and grows, and then all of a sudden gets shut down.
Oh, probably.
Yeah.
I mean, you know who the main audience in those are.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's very obvious who the main audience is,
Yes.
because back when she was really doing the lives all the time, she didn't even have moderators. It was just her, and that chat's just going crazy, guy.
I'd
And
love
I'm
to
like,
see her female to male ratio. Male.
oh, I can probably count on one hand the time I've seen an actual woman in that channel.
Yep. Catch up here in the chat. DJ's in the house. Welcome.
Hey DJ, I've seen you today.
I don't know if I'm going to ask that, Mike. Mike is asking, would you trust Daryl to drive you around the city, Dale?
Not a chance in hell.
Okay, we're done.
He drives like my buddy Park. That's from California. I don't like driving with him either.
Well, and you know what? It's kind of funny because when I was here and I moved down to California for like 6 months, I had to change how I drove in order to not die down there.
Yeah, they drive very aggressively.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You
And
know, it's the same thing in New Orleans too, though, and it's so. In New Orleans, it catches you off guard because most of the people in New Orleans, you talk to them, are just the sweetest, nicest people on the face of the earth. But something about when they get in that car, that aggression switch gets flipped, and they drive aggressive.
I drive fine.
You drive aggressive. You got a heavy foot. You like the horsepower.
I do like the horsepower.
Yeah.
I drive safely. I do have a heavy foot. I can admit that. But yeah, I haven't. Oh yeah, I did just this year earlier. I was gonna say I haven't had a ticket in a long time, but yeah, I just got one.
Wait, how did that ever turn out, by the way?
Well, the fire hydrant?
Yeah.
He asked me to email him the pictures because he actually texted me back instead of calling me. So I texted him the pictures back, and probably about 2 weeks later, he texted me back and then sent me a message as well saying that the ticket was no good. Like, just throw it away.
Okay.
So I'm like, you don't understand what a blue fire hydrant. Did you not get out? Like,
that's a unique to Canada thing. We don't have blue fire hydrants here, or at least I've never seen them.
We don't either. So I mean, first time I saw them, going, what is this?
Actually, Vancouver, because I was looking it up whenever we was doing that live stream, and in Vancouver they do have blue fire hydrants. It means they pump salt water.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't either. I'd never heard of that. They said if you see a blue fire hydrant, it usually means that it is a saltwater delivery system.
Huh. Because I mean, we got yellow and red, and I think some green ones around.
Yeah, I don't know. All of them over in the United States they're all red.
Yeah, well, they should be.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, there's color codes to everything. I've never thought that much about color codes for fire hydrants, but
you think
I guess it could make sense.
You think a full blue hydrant with a sign on it, a white sign.
But yeah, I seen that one. The sign, it was definitely there and said parking permitted.
Yeah. It's like, really? And I sent him a picture of it too, where it was nice and close, saying, you know what, it's, I just can't figure it out. It just kind of makes me laugh. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had already sent all my paperwork into the courts to dispute it with pictures. So yeah, I just don't get people sometimes.
I was laughing at you though, whenever you was calling. I was like, this is never going to get solved over the phone. He's going to have to go down there. He's going to have to.
With COVID, there's so many places that you can't go. It's like City Hall.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about that. Yeah, you're right. Everything's closed.
Yeah, City Hall's closed. So like even when I was doing permits and stuff, I had to email communication, full phone communication. Then they opened it up so I could go in. I got in once. The second time I went back, they were shut because they had an outbreak in there. I'm going,
Yeah. Yeah, we were dealing with the same thing. They would say that, well, it looks like we might go back to the office, and I've been hearing that for 6 months now. So
yeah.
And they finally, just last week, I went 2 days, or this week rather, I went to the office for 2 days, but that's because I've been vaccinated. So, and there was not anybody in there, so they said I could. So I went.
Yeah.
I'm ready to get back in the office. I mean, I was never a big fan of telework to begin with, and now what little appeal it did have, it is totally gone. I don't want nothing to do with it. I want to be at that office every day where, I can interact with people.
Yeah. It's nice. And that's kind of because when COVID hit, like I laid off all my guys except for one. And I miss that interaction with the guys.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm constantly getting phone calls, this, that, whatever, right? And I miss that.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of weird.
I mean, whenever I started getting really, chatting, and it was probably right around a little bit before Thanksgiving is when I really started, talking to people in the chat. It was probably right at the end of last summer or last fall, the beginning of it. And then, that was probably the first time that I really got on a live. Well, no, I'd got on one about 6 months into the pandemic. And it was actually a YouTuber that I had been subscribed to, but I'd never watched one of his live shows. And he actually did a full-on comedy skit like Saturday Night Live or something. I mean, he had different characters that he would play and different things like that. And he was really funny. And so I started hanging out in his chats on Wednesdays. And then I don't know what happened. He stopped doing those. But, he had other people involved in whatever production it was. But, I mean, it never had more than 15, 20 people in it.
I had a comedy friend that he was doing that too from home.
Yeah. Well, it's like another YouTuber that I watch that I've been watching for years is the Aussie Man Reviews. I don't know if you've seen him.
No.
He's got a huge channel. He's an Australian comedian, and he's hilarious. I mean, he just does commentary on different videos that people send him. And his commentary is absolutely hilarious. If anybody ever watches that show, Planet Earth, with that narrator guy, if he was, if you've seen them series of that Planet Earth, the one where the iguana was running from all the snakes on that documentary, his commentary on that one will just make you roll laughing. It is so funny because he just totally changes the direction of it, makes it completely comical.
DJ, everyone here drives aggressive, but they don't have a heavy foot like he has. Like his, my goodness. I was going to say, what do you know about that, DJ? But I forgot he was following me, so yeah, he would know. But I slowed down to make sure I could still find him in the snow, but it wasn't him that was behind me. So I guess I lost him. I was making sure he was safe when we were coming through the snow, but I was tracking the wrong vehicle somehow. I guess I lost it. But we're at our hour, and I do really appreciate you taking time.
Hey, I enjoyed it. And it's good to, talk to people and everything. I mean, heck, that's always like the other day when we came up and kind of chatted ahead of this, that right there was fun in and of itself.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I had a blast.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. So,
but yeah.
Would have been nice to get Bree up here for this, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I've been trying to get Bree up to do an interview.
Oh, I know. Everybody has.
It's just, she keeps blaming it on her phone.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
She's nervous, I know, but
Daryl supports the brake industry.
he does at that.
But yeah, I want to say thank you. Thank you for taking time out of you watching YouTube, participating in lunch, dinner. I know it's getting late there too. So I do really appreciate it, and hope to see you in some more of the channels.
Oh, I'm sure you will. I mean, I'm sure it'll slack off if things actually do return to normal, because normally I don't have this much time on my hands.
Yeah. And that's what I'm finding right now too, is like I'm getting less and less time because, things are starting to.
Yeah.
So it makes it more difficult. Like today I'm running around. So I was like, hopefully I don't miss this, but yeah. I'm trying to make Fridays kind of an adventure day with my weekend. So I haven't succeeded yet.
Okay.
But yeah, I want to say thank you. I wish you all the best, and we'll be chatting soon.
All righty. I appreciate it. You have
Thanks,
a good one. I don't know how you end this, so.
I'll do that.
Okay.
On my end, I can remove you, and then you can leave studio at the very bottom. There's a red X.
Okay.
Thanks, Dale.
All right. You have a good one.
Bye. Well, that was a lot of fun. Chatting with Dale, getting to know him, and seeing what he's all about. So now that when you're in the channel and you see Dale, say hi. And I just want to say, today is Tosha's birthday. I gotta adjust the green screen on this. It keeps going in and out. Today's Tosha's birthday. She's 3 years old today. Such a little clown. So we have a little birthday party for you later, right? A little birthday party. Next week we are interviewing Traveling Robert. The following week is Box Van D. And the last week of May, we are doing a party. We're going to be doing a party for our, hopefully, 10K. We're sitting at 990 right now. And it keeps fluctuating. It's driving me nuts. So we're sitting at 990. So at the end of the month, hopefully we're at our 10K or past. We're going to be doing a party. We're going to be giving away prizes and having a lot of fun. So hopefully you guys will be there. And Tasha, you're getting some happy birthdays. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the interviews that are coming up. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun next week. Interviewing Richard, and then Dee, who's very iconic in our community, and then doing our there goes Tasha's friend. I got a window right in front of me, and there's another pug here that's just down the road, so they like to visit. It's kind of funny. The only dog she doesn't bark at. Go figure. But anyway, so yeah, that's a great lineup coming up. I'm really looking forward to it. And I'm going to say goodbye. I appreciate all of you guys stopping in and participating, asking your questions, and participating in the interview. So until next week, I want to say do epic shit, and we'll see you later.